Hello, welcome to episode 3 of JagaVision. This is our third kick at the can, technically our fourth. We had a little bit of an epic fail last Thursday, so we're meeting up again with Sister Speak, Sherri and Ratio Coffee in Vernon. They're going to be joining us to cup some of the Tiguan Yin Hong Shin, and pretty excited to make that happen now with actually audible audio. We're learning as we navigate the various challenges that staying at home is really meant for us. I think that technology is always I got a love-hate relationship with it, but in this particular happenstance, I'm feeling pretty blessed that we have the ability to connect with you like this and hopefully share some of what we're learning when it comes to various teas and thoughts, etc. The point of the JagaVision episodes is, again, to hopefully vicariously share a cup of tea. If you stay tuned, we'll give you a coupon code and let you know what we're doing next week, as we have Pedro from O5T joining us on Thursday at 1, and we'll be drinking the Gyokuro Saimidori, part of our reserve tea series. And word is that Pedro's going to send us some lovely pu'er to drink together as well. So we'll be doing a cupping of each other's teas, or a tasting of each other's teas, to be technically correct. And we're looking forward to it. So today, again, we're going to be drinking the Tiguan Yin. Literally means Iron Goddess of Mercy. Lovely selection from Anzi in Fujian province. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. We have, before everybody joins us, I'm gonna drink some sencha. So we were gifted some teas from a young farmer in Ujitawara. So figured it might be a good idea to try one of his selections, I should say. There's an unshaded Ujitawara and shaded. This is interesting. A shaded yet roasted a bit. Yabukita cultivar, but this is in Minami Yamashiro village in Kyoto. So this is not in Ujitawara. If I'm going to drink Ujitawara, why don't we drink this one? Oh, there's a good one. This is a blend of Goko and Uji Midori. So these are not very common cultivars for me anyways. Yabukita is definitely the cultivar of choice for many, not because it's the most delicious, but because it has that good blend of being very resilient to pests and very resilient to frost, etc. Okay, so my usual rule of thumb when I'm cupping a sencha is to use 6 grams of tea, 180 mils of water. So let's analyze this for a moment. You can see that, I hope. Smelling pretty good. So the Gyokuro. I'm not seeing a lot of stem, but I do see a little bit of brown, which is not necessarily a good sign, especially in a Gyokuro. But this is organic, and the color is really nice. It's also not crazy expensive. Leaves look decent, pretty good. A little bit of stem, but that can't really be helped. Maybe they're not using the separation machine to its fullest potential. drinking, I'm going to use a Kyusu, one of my favorites. And I'll put that here. And then timer, 1 minute. So I like to take it to 180 grams. It's good to preheat your teapot to give yourself a little bit of thermal stability. This lets you know that the temperature that you're brewing with, or that you've set on your temperature variable kettle, is actually the temperature that you're brewing with. While it's brewing, good time to grab yourself a cup, a decanter. I find it's generally a good idea to decant because when you decant, you evenly strengthen your cups between even strength between cups. If you think about it, if you're pouring out an extraction, the traditional Japanese style, where you're pouring a little bit into each cup and then working your way back, you're going to have uneven distribution of flavor. I like to weigh my extraction. I don't always preheat my decanter because I like to cool down the liquid for drinking. And I find though that with 70 degrees, kind of on the fence. Probably in the winter time I would preheat it, because 70 cooling to 60, and then winter it can get pretty cold pretty fast. So get that last golden drop out of your Kyusu. You can see we started at 150 grams and I pushed out a good 6 grams of tea, if not a little bit more. 156.5, yeah, and 6 grams. Now 180 grams to 156, that means that really what's happened there is good 25 grams of absorption. That's about 1/6 of the total liquid has been absorbed by the leaves. That's quite important when I'm making my second infusion, because if I want to use mass, then I need to remember that. And it smells pretty green. Probably haven't toasted this very far. Probably now the region, they in Kyoto Prefecture, they generally do more of an asamushi. Yeah, it smells really green. It smells really good. But if one of our farmers that we work with, he says whenever he goes to Tokyo, he's always told that the color of his tea is not good enough, not deep enough, which isn't true. It's just the style. A good amount of umami for an organic. For an organic gyokuro, that's pretty substantially good. Wow. Yeah, really solid hit of umami. Now, when I think gyokuro, I normally would make it a different style. I would normally do, and we'll do this next week, I would normally do 40 degrees centigrade for 2 minutes. But when it said organic, I immediately thought, okay, there's no way this is going to be possible for me to make it the style that you would normally drink a gyokuro, which they call susuricha, or yeah, noticeably good. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can't bring in Sister Speak and our friends at Ratio. Hold on one sec. Forgive me for doing this live. Okay, Andrew, where are you? There you are. Okay. Yeah, Ujitawara. Or is this Minami Yamashiro? No, it's Ujitawara. Right near Wazuka. Hey, Andrew. We're live right now. Just hoping to bring you into the call. And we're using Hangouts today. You're ready to go. Okay. What email would you like me to is there like a, I guess we're live, we shouldn't shout that out. You want to text me the email that you want me to send the invite to? Ideally a Gmail. You're in? Oh, you did. Okay, amazing. All right, then I will. I'll send you the invite, and we'll get rocking and rolling. Okay. I'm gonna hang up, and then I'll try and figure it out through the browser. Okay. Peace. All right, Andrew. So give me a moment, guys, while I figure this out. Grab your things. Hello, everybody. Okay, we are now live. Say hello to everybody. Awesome. So everybody, this is Andrew McWilliam with Ratio Coffee. He's kindly enough agreed to join us again for this redo of episode 3. He's going to be drinking the lovely Tiguan Yin Hong Xin with us. Andrew, you want to say hi to the viewers? Okay. Excellent. All right. So a little bit about Andrew. Andrew, we've worked with him for a number of years at various projects, but this, I don't know, it's not really a recent project anymore. How long has Ratio been around? 4.5 years. Yeah, so it's a pretty reasonable amount of time, and I'm sure you had your trials and your successes, but you want to tell us a little bit about what's happening with COVID-19 and Ratio? Sure, sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we've especially with the go- government eligibility for various programs changing sometimes in the course of a few days, if not every day, and I would say more often than not for the better. So that's been nice to see. But I definitely thought when things first started that a lot of what was being offered wasn't gonna work for JagaSilk. And then for my part, after talking with you, Andrew, and discussing a little bit of the ways that you were meeting the challenges, it was an inspiration for us to bring more of our team back and figure out ways where we could get creative and still keep at least pieces of the business moving, so that we could come out of this in one piece. Maybe maybe a little bit battered, but yeah. Hmm. Right. Awesome. Right. Right. Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh wow. Aw. Wow. Yeah. Most every day, right? Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And to our viewers, Sister Speak has joined us as well. I just want, yeah, Andrew, it was an interesting time for us too. I think when you came down during that time, we were just about to put on the Victoria Tea Festival. We had just had to decide that Thursday, as soon as BC banned groups of 250 or more, that we needed to postpone the festival, ostensibly to August. I am so on the fence on whether or not that can even happen. It might turn into something like the Belleville festival turned into, which was a virtual festival where they have a number of people where you could join their rooms and have tea with them, but it was in a very virtual way. So we'll see how it goes. We plan on having music at the event too. Sister Speak has been a huge part of it through their they have a label called Resonation, and we've been working. Jagasilk Music and Resonation has been working together to put on the festival in August. So we were going to combine the two festivals together, but now I'm just wondering if that's even possible. But yeah, anyhow, Sister Speak, Sherri Ann, if you want to say a quick hi to everybody. Awesome. And thank you for coming back onto the show so that we can refilm our episode 3. That was a little bit of an epic audio fail last time. I watched it again afterwards, and everything was barely comprehensible. But we figured out that a huge part of it was definitely the ability of my computer to handle Zoom, apparently. So today we're using a different software. We're using the Hangout software, and it seems to eat up a little bit less memory, although the picture isn't as clear. But we take these things one step at a time. So Sister Speak and I, and actually Blockstar and we were in this magazine, Andrew, if you can see it, and our viewers can see it. Yeah. So this is the beautiful Allen Houston, and it's a really beautiful magazine that talks about how various businesses and artists are coping with COVID-19. There's our spread, and then we have Sister Speaks. Beautiful. Look at that. Nice glass. So you know a little bit more than me, Sherri, about I believe the proceeds of this magazine are going to artists supporting artists, or is there some sort of mm-hmm. Oh, to Direct Relief. It's called Direct Relief, a nonprofit which works in the United States and internationally to equip doctors and nurses with life-saving medical resources. So if you have not checked out this magazine, go check it out, Allen and Houston, and you can read some articles that Sister Speak wrote, JagaSilk wrote, and let you know a little bit about our adventures in dealing with the challenges of COVID-19. So, but right, nice. Oh, I think I remember that, Andrew. There was a nice. Lovely. Nice. I saw that in the photos. Yeah, that was really awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, that was just rad to see. And your donuts are awesome, man, I have to say. So if any of our viewers haven't tried out Ratio's donuts and you're in Vernon, or if you're through there at some point, maybe after the dust settles, you need to go and check out their space. Andrew, you want to talk to us just, I know you explained last time, but maybe you can tell us a little bit about what is Ratio when, obviously we talked a little bit about the challenges you face, but can you just introduce a little bit about what your project means to you and why people would want to come and check out Ratio? Ooh. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Doesn't doesn't your baker have some sort of specialty training that yeah. Oh, very cool. Okay, cool. Yes. Lovely. You serve our kombucha. You've been serving our matcha, our loose teas, and our tea lattes since day one. Well, not the kombucha because we didn't have it. You predate our kombucha program. So, yeah. So it's no, it's always lovely working with you and geeking out on stuff. I'm really glad that you're on the show today. And we'll move on to drinking tea in just a moment. But I just wanted everybody, Sherri, you want to tell everybody a little bit about oh, uh-oh. I can't hear Andrew. Can't hear Andrew at all. Can hear only you. Oh, the boss tells us can't hear both Andrew. Still can't hear other two. Problematic. Okay. All right. That is so sad. I just figured this out, and here we are. So the sound device is not working. Okay. Huh? That is so sad, guys. I'm pretty disappointed. Give me a second. I hate to do this to you, but if you can just let me figure out what's going on, give me stay on, but give me 20 seconds, all right? Sure.
Trying to keep it safe here.
Oh, that's so cute.
And then couples come for coffee, which is great because they're quarantined together. So that works.
Yeah.
And then throughout the day, I just make sure they're all 6 feet apart.
We are live, guys. We are live. We are. I fixed the problem.
Wahoo!
Thank goodness that the boss was watching, as we were able to fix the issue. So, that is great. So, let's. To paraphrase again, I hate to do this, as I feel like it's a repeat of last week. But I have another. Just one sec, guys. The boss is ringing in. Hey, boss, we're live. I think we got the audio back. Can you hear it? Okay. You guys want to try talking?
Hello.
Hello, bonjour. Comment ça va?
Who's the boss?
Yeah.
What's happening? Hello.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out who the boss is.
The boss is the wife, the Mewster.
Okay.
Boss is you, co-owner.
Yeah, the co-owner of JagaVision. Okay. So apparently, your guys' voices are a little bit quiet. You guys want to speak in a little bit closer to the mics?
Hello.
I'm on one of these headphone thingies. Maybe I can use it as a microphone.
There we go. Okay.
How about now?
Hold it like this.
Oh, there you go. You know what, guys? If you want to, you can back up now. It was just that my speaker device was low. So I've turned it up, and now it should be okay. You talking normal?
Perfect.
Okay.
Talking normal.
Talking normal.
Hello, bonjour.
Okay, so to paraphrase a little bit of what we were talking about, and when everybody was kind of looking but not actually hearing you guys talk, Andrew, we had you showing us your space a little bit. You want to show us one more time?
Yeah, for sure. There we go. Not on the patio here. Ratio, big mural.
Lovely. Train station.
Train station, yeah, the train tracks right out here.
And everybody needs to check it out for not just their beautiful coffees, which are fantastic and expertly put together using, I believe you use drum roaster coffee and a rotating selection of guest roasters?
Yes, indeed.
Awesome. And then we were talking a little bit about your pastry program and how you have a Red Seal chef, and that one of the other owners who's less involved these days, but has been instrumental in creating the space, as I understood from what you were saying, is also an experienced baker, and that you also have a beautiful pizza program. You've been working with us since you opened. We've actually known you for a couple projects before that, and it's been really lovely working with you. You told us a little bit about your experience with COVID-19, where you were down on Vancouver Island, and you were as the situation got worse in March, when you were taking your spring break holidays, you rushed back, and you were gonna be taking some time off, but now you've been working 15-hour days every day, and just trying to figure out this insanity that we're all facing together. So, does that sound like have I paraphrased?
Sounds pretty accurate.
Okay,
yeah.
that's our.
It's a good listener, hey?
That's a good listener. Wow, that's great.
Cool. And Sherri Ann, Sister Speak, you want to tell us a little bit about your project? What is Sister Speak Music for people that have not had a chance to listen to you? And for our viewers, just so you know, 12 p.m. Thursdays before our show, you should tune into Sister Speak Music on her Patreon, Instagram, does some beautiful live shows. But yeah, if you want to tell us a little bit about your music project.
So I sing and write and play guitar and tour a lot, but right now touring's not an option, so this is the stay-at-home tour. Actually, that's what it will be. Last year we did our first world tour, and that was really amazing and special. And then this year is the write and stay at home. There's a really a heartfelt kind of soulful intention with the music, different messages in all the songs. I love playing at Ratio as well, and Jaga Silk. I've played both your spaces, more intimate shows,
Nice.
and the teas fueled a lot of the tours. So I'm really excited to have tea and to. It's a musician's morning right now, so I'm still waking up, and I'm excited to try this tea out.
Musician's morning, is that a thing?
I just made it up.
Oh, that's
but
great. I like it. I like it. Yeah, I think I experience that most weekends. It's no, that's awesome. Yeah, and Sister Speak, for those who don't know, have been performing every year at our Jaga Silk Music and Tea in the Court. Sherri is my sister, and we actually used to perform together in high school in Kelowna. We would do the coffee shop rounds, and she's actually been lovely enough to play guitar for a little bit of my solo project, Truth and Dolphin. She's even wearing my t-shirt, which is the Truth and Dolphin t-shirt.
That's true. And we even played at Ratio in Vernon.
Did. Yeah, that was last year now. Was it 2018? I believe.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah, no, totally. So, okay, guys. Lost your video there, Andrew. You want to see if you can't put it back on?
It keeps on coming back and forth.
Yeah? Oh, there you are. Okay, cool.
It comes and goes.
Comes and goes. Okay, so I figured we could move to making some tea now, if that works for you.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. All right.
Yes, let's do that.
So, what I would love you guys to do is grab your tea Guan Yin.
Yeah.
Guan Yin.
Yeah.
Have it ready over here.
And I would like you to grab your scales. Make sure, Sherri, if you want to fresh boil some water.
Yes. It's boiling.
It's boiling away. Okay, awesome.
I just threw it back on.
Okay. And then, Andrew, you have a temperature variable kettle that you may not even need, because you just need 90 degrees C.
Is it 6 grams of tea? Is that right, Jared?
We're using 6 grams. Yeah, 6 grams for 180 mils. And for our viewers, we like to pay attention to 4 variables. I mean, we like to pay attention to more than 4, but 4 basic variables. My camera is mirroring for some reason, so I'm going to just explain them to you. For this one, it's a 6 gram, 180 milliliter, 90 degrees centigrade extraction. And what you want to do to achieve that is you want to scale, ideally a temperature variable kettle. You want a timer, and you should be able to figure it out from there. So you want to have obviously something to brew with. What we like to do is if
is it 1 minute 30?
It's 1 minute 30. That's correct. I like to preheat my brewing vessel just so that I have thermal stability. I like to use one of these AeroPress funnels. They're my favorite funnels for loading up teapots.
They're great for all sorts of things.
Aren't they?
Oh.
And then what I like to do is I like to set my kettle to 90. So for those of you at home that don't have a temperature variable kettle, you can do the Sister Speak method, which is you want to work with the concept that for every time you pass hot water into a room temperature vessel, you're essentially dropping the temperature by 10 degrees centigrade. So you want to essentially preheat your brewer, so that water you can't really work with. But if you have a decanter, it can be anything. It can be your favorite teapot, could be your decanter, whatever you're going to pour it could be even just a large cup if you're drinking tea for one. And essentially you want to put the boiling water into the decanter. Boiling water is 100 degrees centigrade or pretty close to it, as long as you're not at too high of an elevation. and then you're going to drop that into your drinking cup. That's going to drop at that 10 degrees you need, and then you can put that water on top of your tea that's in the preheated brewer, and you'll be brewing your tea with 90 degrees centigrade. So what do you guys, you want to, once I get the hot...
Oh, I skipped ahead. I've already got my water in, Jared.
You already got your water in. Okay, so you wanna give your dry leaf a smell there, then, Andrew. Maybe just out of the tin. See what you can pick up in terms of flavor notes.
Gonna reboil.
To me, it feels like a really fresh, like almost like a fresh cut grass smell. Something that I would expect out of like a green tea.
Yeah.
So to me, that's the sign that this particular oolong has not been withered too deeply. And when I say too deeply, it's not that withering deeper is a bad thing. Tigwanyin, there's generally there's different variations of this particular selection. There's a very green, almost green tea version of this selection. There's also more of a where they let it wither a little bit longer. The propyl-oxidase, the PPO enzyme, is going to brown the leaf, and you're going to want to stop that leaf from browning by hitting it with heat, doing a process called kill green. And with this one, it looks like they let the PPO enzyme do its magic just a little bit rather than a lot. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, so you're already ahead, Andrew.
I skipped a step or two here.
You're ready.
I poured my tea.
You're ready to drink, aren't you? Okay, so for our viewers, you want to press the timer the moment that the water hits the tea. I'm gonna measure 1 milliliter, 1 gram, so 180. Okay.
Woohoo!
There we go. Okay. So
We could do a virtual concert at Ratio, and then if I come to Victoria in the summer when it's all safe, we could do a virtual concert at JagaVision.
ooh, that would be really fun. Yeah, I was. One of the plans I had for the first Music and Tea in the Court was I wanted to do a show where different performances were on the projector screen. So if there were people visiting, they could see performances from around the world that were projected live at JagaSilk. So I think working with an idea like that, where we can do a live show that's just the artists in their residence, and then we can also combine it with tea, is something that's really possible for sure.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where are you at in the process, Andrew? You've skipped ahead. So are you already drinking?
I haven't sipped yet, but I was waiting for you guys.
Waiting for us? Well, you want to let us know what you're smelling there?
Mm.
It's buttery almost, eh?
Yeah.
Like asparagus with butter on top.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Oftentimes I find this slight sort of roasted nut quality to it. I think
for sure.
via that finish firing process.
Roasted nut.
Really pale green, almost yellow.
Uh-huh. It's very yellowy. It's almost like almost like sweet corn. Is it wrong that I'm saying vegetables when I'm smelling this?
No. We often do.
Oh wow! I finally made it right.
When it's too cool, which I think might have happened last week when we were brewing with you, Sherri Ann, I think that it might have been a little bit too pallid, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was too cold. And then I did it too hot.
Right,
I
and
put
you brought out too much tannin.
I forgot the transfer vessel for one of them last week.
That wasn't during the... I remember that during the sencha, when you brewed the sencha a little hot. But
Oh, that was the detention. Never mind. This is so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
This might be better than last week's.
is it?
Wow.
Probably redid the video.
Nice. Yeah.
But maybe it's because I'm
Yeah.
outside and experiencing it.
Yeah. You know, I think being outside is often gonna make just about anything taste that much better.
Mm-hmm.
Not that
I love it.
you love
I
it.
love
Oh my
this.
gosh.
Yeah.
This one here, this little glass teapot you gave me, Jared.
Yeah.
With it sort of lets a certain amount of coarse tea bits through.
Right.
And I
Right.
actually really love that with this tea. Like it's got a bit of a thicker body maybe.
Mm.
But even at the bottom of my cup, it's very, I don't know if I can see it even, but
You got a little bit of sediment.
and I really like that. I kind of look forward to those little bits.
Well, you know, like we have. That's an interesting comment because we have this. See this guy here, this superfine sieve that you use for our
Yeah.
CTCs, etc. That can,
Yeah.
right? This guy we often see many of our customers use for all of their teas, and I've always been of the opinion that having a little bit of coarseness, maybe something that's more like this, right? I just
This
did
is-
that for matcha. Is
This
gonna
is really coarse.
yeah, but I think that coarseness allows for it allows for more flavor to come through. So this conversation happens in coffee as well. Like I've never been much of a paper filter fan, just because I feel like maybe I haven't allowed my palate to get accustomed. I know there's a lot of paper filters that have very little flavor, but I always, even the ones that are like famous for having no effect on end flavor, I maybe it's placebo, but I feel like I can taste the paper. And the argument is that it blocks the fines from getting through, so that you don't plug the holes in your like the pores in your tongue, so you get a nicer flavor experience. But I feel like people are losing out because paper, especially in say tea bags as well, it soaks up the volatile oils that really provide a lot. And I think that sediment, or a little tiny bit of sediment, does play an interesting role in, maybe it'll add a little bit of tannin, but it improves on the flavor structure of the experience. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
Yes.
Yeah. Andrew, are
Plus you can.
Oh, sorry, go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. Oh, plus you could also read the tea leaves afterwards too.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Definitely. Andrew, thoughts on paper versus metal filters?
I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
With coffee.
Yeah.
With coffee, I always like, well, with the exception of the French press, I do really like a good French press, but I like it, I make it a little bit different, not really different to my unique style. I'm just copying other people I've seen, but I always scoop the grinds out of the top to get that kind of last little sediment out, and then I really let it sit and cool for a while so that it's quite filtered at the end.
So you're letting that sediment drop a little bit, or as much as
drop,
possible.
And then I kind of stay away from that bottom chunk, which is sort of, I don't know what you call it, sedimenty.
Sedimenty.
But with pour overs and everything, I don't love the metal filters they have. Even the AirPress metal filters, I'm not a huge fan of them. So
I like the aftermarket fellow.
that one's really good, the Prismo.
You're right. I like the Prismo a lot. I actually use that whenever I'm drinking coffee these days. It's, even though I have a hate on for plastic, I've been drinking it through a Prismo filter on an AeroPress, and I've been really enjoying it. Yeah, it's been giving me some interesting flavors. Sorry? Oh, hello?
Nothing.
Hello.
I'm just saying, I'm smiling and waving at customers.
Oh, okay.
All walking by and wondering
Oh.
While you're outside? That's awesome.
What do you think about bamboo filters? I don't drink coffee, but my significant other does.
Bamboo filters. Again, to each their own. But Andrew, you want to take this one?
it's been a long time since I tried one. I was not a fan.
You
A
weren't.
little bit of the bamboo taste comes through in my mind.
Right. We lost your video there again, Andrew. But oh, there you are. There you're back. Okay, we're good. Okay. We haven't lost your audio yet, so that's good. we're ahead of last week. Okay. Yeah. Is that a Melita?
Yeah, it's Melita.
Yeah. So, again, paper for me, similar idea. If I I think that there's when people are doing pour overs, the cone, I believe that there's a lot too much contact time on that bottom just before the water goes through the bottom of the filter. So I've never been I love the aesthetics. I think it looks really beautiful, but I get concerned about over extraction. And I think French presses used to be this like really popular way of drinking coffee, and then it's kind of been pushed to the side for the clean mouthfeel that you get from a pour over. But I do miss out on that richness, that butteriness, that texture. Yeah. And I did find that too much fines, it definitely distracts. But I like to put a French press through that super fine sieve that I was just showing you guys. And I used to have a number of cafes here in Victoria using our super fine sieve when everybody was doing French presses as their drip program back in the day. Like we're talking 10 years ago. But I find that is a brilliant cup of coffee. It doesn't, though, stay brilliant for very long. I think that's probably the reason why people move away from it, is because 10 minutes in and you're just tasting too much over extraction at that point. So you do. But brewed fresh, amazing. Just not an ideal candidate for batch brew, right? Yeah.
So can you make it in a regular coffee maker? Can you make coffee without a filter?
You need a filter otherwise it's just gonna gum up everything and you just have a sludge. But I think you can move from you can use generally aftermarket pieces for that particular. Like there are different metal filters that you can use.
If you just had a mason jar and filled it up with coarse ground coffee, and then like if you did the right parameters, and then you poured hot water over that and let it sit for like 5 minutes. And then scoop off the grounds at the 5-minute mark, and then let it cool a bit. Everything will settle to the bottom.
Right. So it's kind of like when you're cupping coffees.
Yeah, it's just like a cupping of coffee. That's really nice, actually. That's great.
I'm a big fan of full immersion, and that's essentially what a press is, or what the cupping coffees. When you're cupping coffees, what you're doing is you're doing a full immersion extraction, and it's really what I'm asking you guys to do right now with your teas. Why don't we move on to that second infusion, guys?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you're gonna get some more water? Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So I'm just gonna slam this. You want to tell me a little bit what you're tasting, Sherri?
Oh my! It is like buttery. It's like probably my favorite flavors I've tasted in green black tea. I think I said this last time. It almost reminds me of a Genmaicha.
Okay. There's that kind of greenness to it. It's also really lightweight, hey? It's a very almost not thin tea, but it's not like as like the sencha that we had last week was like a very like rich broth, whereas this one is a little bit lighter.
It's fun. I think it's fun. As soon as I drink it, I'm like, wow, it is like buttery and like it's like festive or something to me.
Fair. When you're doing your second infusion, you still want to keep that same temperature, which you're going to achieve by doing your space, that fresh boil, into a room temperature cup or some sort of transfer vessel before you pour onto the leaves. Note that there's a little bit of leaf absorption. So if you did 180 the next time around, you're going to be putting too much on. I believe that I saw somewhere around 15 grams of leaf absorption. So you want to do 165 grams the second steep. And you don't...
165 milliliters, you mean?
Well, yeah, but like we're weighing it. So you can... 1 gram and 1 milliliter are essentially the same thing.
Really?
Yeah, it's really, really useful. You don't really need a measuring cup when you're measuring liquids. And it just lets you do this full immersion process that say Andrew's going to be doing with his coffee cuppings. We do that whenever you see me pouring water onto my tea, it's always on a scale, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm just looking at the gram measurement, and 1 gram is going to equal 1 milliliter for our purposes. There's a slight difference if you want to get scientific about it. As the water gets hotter.
Wow, already.
Yeah. Another benefit of a temperature variable kettle is just how fast you can get going on your second infusion, because you can keep the kettle at the desired temperature. So I'm a big proponent of temperature variable kettles.
You should come get this one, Sherri, right here. This guy. Oh, One sec. This is a good one right here. The fellow.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right, I'm coming over.
Adjustable dial. That one's
6
the
foot
beauty.
distance purchase.
Yeah, yeah.
There
I'm
you go.
using the same one here.
Yeah, awesome. So actually, Sherri Ann is staying at our mom's house in Vernon, and I sent them a fellow kettle for my mother's Christmas present. So hopefully that does them good.
I think I'll steal it from her in the next one.
There you go, and you get that temperature variability. It makes
I'll
a
have to
difference.
ask.
I love the analog dial on them too. I don't want to make this into a commercial or anything, but they're a small well, maybe not super small now, but they started their process through a Kickstarter campaign, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if we have audio on you there, Andrew. Can you speak?
Oh, sorry, I muted it for a second.
Oh, okay, no worries. Yeah, it's all good. Okay, so
My second infusion is done. I'm just going to pour it.
okay, awesome. How about you, Sister Speak?
Yeah, just a quick question, Andrew. When it turns over to the image, is that fan art?
Sorry, where?
When it changes from your face to the image of of the awesome bearded man, that's like anime.
Yeah, that's from my YouTube channel, Bitmoji. My I don't know what you call that. Your emoticon, or I'm not sure what it is.
Oh, that's funny.
Was it?
It looks like I was asking if it was fan art.
No. I made it myself, but yeah. Well, I made it through an app.
Really?
But yeah, that's my icon for my YouTube channel. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So we're
Wow.
drinking the second infusion. This one, I neglected to tell you both to drop down the second infusion to 1:10, 15 seconds. If you brewed 1:30, it's not the end of the world, but
Yeah, I did about 1:20. I kind of remembered that from last time, but.
okay. Yeah. Did you do 1:30, Sherri Ann?
I did what you did, but I did it 10 seconds longer, and I think I oversteeped it slightly.
Okay. So one way that you can kind of you can get around that, the workaround, it's not ideal, but if you've ever overbrewed, you could kind of temper some of those tannins by adding a little bit more water.
Oh, okay.
Isn't it crazy how much the 6 grams of tea becomes?
Yeah.
I
When you
know.
look at like the,
It's crazy.
it's just nuts. It's like half full.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
That's like my pot, and yeah, it's insane. And then it just seems to take up more and more space as we infuse. Hey.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
That worked.
yeah.
Mhm.
What are we thinking, guys? What is this one tasting like? Are we tasting those buttery
It's a
notes
little-
again?
Yeah, a little more grassy than buttery.
Yep.
It's still really pleasant, but that first one really is a stunner. This one's just a little subdued.
You know, I
agree.
I wonder about that with this one. I enjoy the third steep and the fourth steep so much more than the second. The second is always a little bit. I guess I'm still trying to find it. I on the instructions on if our viewers are ever enjoying this tea from our webpage, if you want to order it in, the second infusion is never that impressive on this particular oolong. That's definitely not the case in a lot of oolongs that we bring in, and there may be a way to enjoy this this particular tea that we haven't found for that second infusion. But the third infusion is brilliant. We take it to 1:30 again, and then we from there we bring it up 30 seconds for each infusion.
Yeah, it kind of stays on my tongue a little bit longer than on the second infusion.
Yeah, you're gonna get probably along the edges there.
Yeah, even the whole like top of my tongue too.
Yeah. So this is actually from, I don't know how much you guys remember from when we were doing the original episode 3, but I was talking to you guys about origin notes on this particular selection. This is from a farmer named Mr. Wang. We buy from him selections that have been that are utilizing Taiwanese cultivars, and he'll be growing oolongs in Fujian, the birthplace of oolongs in general, and reverse importing them from Taiwan, that has become famous for their oolongs. And it's kind of interesting to see that. However, this particular cultivar, this is from Anzi. If you're in China and you say Tiguanyin, the area that comes into your head initially is going to be Anzi in Fujian province in China. High elevation. This particular cultivar is also called Tiguanyin. So there's Tiguanyin the tea and Tiguanyin the cultivar, and it has little purple hairs on the back.
Right.
And this is a variant of the famous Tiguanyin cultivar called Hongxin. It's the small leaf variant. So these particular leaves are a lot smaller than the traditional Tiguanyin cultivar. And some people would argue that through more surface area is going to pull out more like richer flavors. I haven't really noticed that. Like, I'm not saying that it's worse or that it's better. I've just noticed that most farmers seem to be able to, if they have enough skill, adjust their harvesting and processing techniques to suit the cultivar in their particular region if they've had enough time to work with it. If that makes sense. Traditionally, you would actually make, I shouldn't say traditionally, but commonly you'll see people brew Tiguanyin in a gaiwan, and that's what a gaiwan looks like. Can you guys see that okay?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And then it's kind of like you put the leaves in here, and then you would brew, and then when it's done extracting, you actually just pull the lid in like this, and then you pour into your decanter. And when you're done, you can actually flip it upside down, and you can look at the leaves for analysis if you like, or you can keep them in the cup. And you do multiple infusions, and you would fill that cup like 2/3 of the way, so you get like this massive. It's 6 grams still that you would put in there, maybe as much as 10 grams, and you would do these flash infusions. And some people throw out the first steep in what they call a rinse. I kind of adjust whether or not I enjoy the rinse or not, depending on the tea. So if I'm finding that the initial infusion is just too dusty for my taste, then that's going to affect how I experience flavor for the consecutive infusions. So I'm likely going to throw out that first steep. So if you guys, have you ever had our Yashishang, Andrew?
Yep.
Yeah, that one we suggest a rinse on it. Way better if you give it a wash. And to accomplish that, again, it's just hot water. You submerge the leaves just barely. It's about 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and it can replace the preheating of the teapot. So you can put the leaves in cold, and then you can use both the washing of the leaves and the preheating of the teapot. It can be the same motion. So it doesn't really add time from a food service perspective to do the rinse, if that makes sense.
I was just laughing because I think today is 420, is it not?
It's which?
Oh yeah, it is.
420.
Oh, okay.
And
All right.
And I'm sitting here enjoying all these green leaves here.
We're making a new kind of 420 right now.
Different type of 420.
We're doing.
This is my kind of 420. Oolong.
Oh, you're killing me here. Okay. Well, you guys want to try that third infusion?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm not gonna finish the second because I'm gonna be too caffeinated.
Too buzzed?
I know, right?
Yeah, this is.
Second out.
So I'm gonna do for this infusion. I'm gonna do 1 minute and 30. It's interesting because from a food service perspective, Andrew, you probably get people asking you about volume on these teas. They'll say, hey, 6 ounces doesn't seem like a whole lot. And if this isn't COVID-19, then they can enjoy it in-house. And it adds up pretty fast if you start getting multiple infusions on something like this, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's a hard one to sell and to go.
Yes, this is true. But lovely as a cold infusion, though, eh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Cold brew tea.
You should.
Or we've been trying to encourage people to buy. Certainly more with the London fog and chai powders as people are taking those home.
Nice.
Oh,
Okay.
I just got the cube. Mm.
The cube
Yep.
taster. Awesome. Yeah, we still.
So amazing.
That's the for your reference there, Andrew. That's the mix of, well, not the mix, but like it's one each of the chai, London fog, rooibos chai, and mat chai or green tea chai.
Yep.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
it's good times. Yeah.
Totally.
15 seconds.
Yeah, people have been people who have. Well, even my kids. My kids love your London fogs, which is definitely a far cry from a type Guan.
Nice.
But making them without even espresso machines at home is pretty easy. So.
Yeah, it's true. Just stirred in some hot water, and so just so our viewers know, you don't need to stop at the third infusion, but we are going to stop at the third infusion. Just want to get your thoughts on. I'm sure you guys got a lot going on with your day, and I did ask you for 30 minutes of your time. I'm already pushing it.
I've got nothing.
do I steep this one a little less as well, like a minute 10 seconds again?
No, this third infusion, you're going to go back to that original minute and a half.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Clean.
Isn't it? Isn't that a nice infusion?
Wow. There it is.
Yeah. It comes right back. And then what I love about the third infusion is the finish. You go in, you're like, oh yeah, clean, nice, aromatic again. And then there's this nuttiness that just like swirls in from the back end, and you just feel it on the back of your tongue.
It's like a kind of like toasted.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I always got scared whenever I taste the second infusion. I think I ruin the leaves, but it's not the case
No,
at all.
it's not the case.
One of my favorite things, Jared, was talking to you once about multiple infusions, and you were telling me about this new tea that you gotten, and you were telling me like you stayed up all night re-infusing it to try to figure out where the limit was.
Right.
And I think you were like, at 6 or 7, the universe opened.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Yes.
I just laughed at that. It's like, wow. And you were right. It did get better and better. I remember that.
That was I think I remember that tea. That was when I was trying to understand Wuyi mountain teas or Phoenix mountain teas actually, and it was like a roasted. It was I think it was the Milan Shang, or the Chilan. Maybe it was the Chilan.
Okay,
Yeah, and I remember. Yeah, it was like I got to 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was actually I'd made it. You said like 5 or 6 steeps, but no, I'd actually made it 5 or 6 times and had 5 or 6 steeps each of those times. I might have even gone into like 10 times, like 7. Like I think I had like 70 cups of tea that night. And it was 3 o'clock in the morning where I finally found it, and I felt like I'd found Nirvana or something. Like it was. Yeah.
The universe opened to me. I was like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious. So I told all the customers that it was, because that's one of the things people do say is like you spend, more than your Tim Hortons Earl Grey or whatever the heck you're gonna grab.
Right.
Or a little tiny 180 ml teapot, like you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
But they don't realize they could have it 6 or 7 times, and it gets better while you're brewing it. So.
And then
then you have the experience each time of experiencing it a little differently each time because it changes the profile too.
Right? Yeah, and every steep, like you'll taste this steep is again different and profoundly enjoyable than the ones that preceded it, right? It's not that it's better or worse in my opinion, although the second one I haven't found a likable second infusion yet. It's interesting how that's similar to like Essentia though. Like Essentia, it's definitely not a minute, but it is like a full 5, like it's just 5 seconds for that second infusion. It's just a wash.
A good way to do a oolong to go is that cold brew concentrate.
Right. Yeah.
Poured over hot water, like you use a concentrate like an Americano.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they're not getting the multiple brews, but you're still going to be able to take that profile, larger than 180 ml capacity to go.
Exactly.
That's a good idea.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, can you remind us how long you steep for each steep?
So
the time?
It's on the package and it's on the tin. but or should be. I hope it's not missing on the pouch. Sometimes I forget to put it on the pouch. If it's ever missing,
it is.
go on to our webpage. But for our viewers, that first steep is 1.5 minutes, 6 grams, 180 mils, 90 degrees C. And then you want to take it from... nice. Okay. Yeah.
It's there,
Beautiful.
actually.
It is there. It is there. And then for the second steep, you drop it down to 1 minute on the package, it says. And then from there, consecutive steeps are 30-second increases. So you're going to do the third steep at 1.5 minutes again, the fourth steep at 2 minutes, the fifth steep at 2.5 minutes. And if it gets too watery, you can extend how long. Like if you get into like the world of the 6th and the 7th steeps, you're going to probably want to increase it even more than 30 seconds. But do it to taste. I generally, when I get to 6 or 7, I start doing minute or even 2-minute infusions. I know that the tea is really done and doesn't have a lot left to say once I taste that faint honey note. So, yeah.
Oh.
Anyway,
I just
go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying it's really nice. I said I have nothing today, but that's not true. I have to go my first outing in 2 weeks. I need to go mail a bunch of CDs and vinyls.
Right. You want to show us the vinyl?
Yeah. Oh yeah, let me grab it.
Okay.
But you guys can keep talking. I'll be 1 second.
Okay. Yeah, she just got her vinyl record, Andrew.
That's cool. I should get one.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. It's pretty rad. So you wanted to say something to the viewers before we let you go here after Sharon comes back with that vinyl?
Sure. I'll think of something profound.
Okay, all right. So Sharon, there it is. Okay, this is Sister Speaks live album.
Oh,
nice. With the.
And here's the band. They're all in California right now.
Right.
Oh, that's great. You know, what's really funny is my kids are big fans of Sister Speak because I had this car last year that only had a CD player, no FM radio or anything. Like, all we could do is listen to CDs. And so we had your two Sister Speak albums, and we listened to it on repeat. And I was like, okay, I've heard this a lot. Like, no offense, it's good stuff, but like I can only listen to one album so many times. But my daughter just loved it. They had all the words memorized to every album, every song we had.
Oh my gosh! Well, this is a new one. There are actually 3 new songs. I'll have to get that to you.
Is this live or no?
Yeah. Do you have the live one?
I don't have the live one. I just have your two studio ones. I'm not sure if you have more than that. But yeah.
Well, we can just. I'll just give you the 3 new songs.
Well, the live versions of the album songs are pretty dope too.
You should drop off a vinyl if you're on your way by. I would gladly.
Aww.
My kids, they would love it.
Cool.
We can make that happen. You have a record player?
I have a record player at home. We listen to it all the time.
Okay, we'll make that happen.
Awesome.
They're quarantined at home, so every day I come home from work and I bring what they're called worldly treats. They call them. Like, what did you bring us from the world today?
Oh man, yeah. I'm the only one that leaves my house as well.
Yeah.
I feel a pretty big responsibility though too. I feel like when I go back home, I'm the one that might be the carrier if I'm not super careful.
I know it's hard. Yeah, I'm a little less affectionate with everybody at home for sure. So.
Right. Got it.
We have like different suites at this house because my dad's a nurse, so my stepdad.
Right.
So we have like a basement, and then it's like separated households in a way, even though we're in the same household. Like we technically don't have to, but
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, well, some challenges we're all facing, hey, and anybody that wants to go and check out Andrew at Ratio Coffee in Vernon, I highly encourage them to do so. He's been serving our teas again since he opened. He's got a really amazing coffee program. He's got some beautiful donuts he does on Fridays, pizzas. You can order everything online, I believe.
Pretty well everything online, and then you can.
What's your website?
RatioCoffee.ca.
RatioCoffee.ca.
And then we have signs on all the parking spots in the parking stall. You can just give us a call, and we'll bring it up to your car. You can come into the cafe still. We got just lines, little X's where you're supposed to stand, and no more chairs. So,
nice.
Okay.
Just keep that 2 meters.
That's right. We measured out the 2 meter X's. So yeah.
Did I see vinyl records for sale in your store?
No, those are actually paintings from an artist.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Unfortunately, not selling too many of them these days for him. But.
Yeah. Now,
Fair enough.
on the website, what is a good day to order? Because I know you sell out of things very quickly.
Well, so it's sort of like a thing where for the date, because we still do daily specials like the Let's and everything, and eclairs tomorrow. So it's best to order the day of in the morning for what you want, and you can pick it up right away, or you can set your time throughout the day.
Okay.
But then for donuts, we put them on Wednesday night, and then that isn't obviously prepared until Friday. But
Ooh, my
our
mom's got
donuts sell really, really quick and crazy. So yeah, some of the flavors we sold out within an hour. Like an hour we'll sell out one of the flavors that's more popular, and then usually by Thursday at kind of like midnight, we're down to like the 20 donuts left sort of thing. So
Amazing.
Wow.
Amazing. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, really big thank you, Andrew, for coming on to the show for a second time, so that we could redo this. We managed to figure out the audio and the video and make this episode, I feel like more of a success than last week. And always a joy to drink tea with you, sir, and to talk about business and talk about flavor. And so huge appreciation. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much.
And Sister Speak too. It's always lovely to get your perspective on tea, on music, on the world, and to discuss a little bit. Well, once Andrew goes here, I don't know what you're up to, Andrew. I just wanted to ask, but if you need to go, we totally respect it. I was going to ask Sherri Ann's thoughts on, or what she's been, how she has met the challenges of COVID-19. As we haven't had a chance to chat with her about that on the show. Yeah.
All right, check you guys.
Okay. Peace.
See you, neighbor.
Okay, you want to let us know a little bit about maybe the challenges that you faced when you were when you were leaving California? Just talk to the viewers about that just for a moment here.
Yeah, so I'm based part-time in BC and part-time in California, and I was in California for the winter, and it was sunny and all that, and honestly, at the beginning of March, I started looking at, and the end of February, kind of what other countries were doing, because even though California enacted quicker than other states, I was thinking that it was a little bit behind. And so I think it was early March I started practicing social distancing, maybe like the first week.
Oh, wow.
And I had like a really good month ahead with music, and then essentially a whole tour in California. And then within about 24 hours, we had our first cancellation, which led to 5 shows canceled. And then within a few days, the entire future of my music was canceled in terms of live performances. So I was in California with, as a musician, you kind of like, sometimes you depend on what's coming ahead. And so I was like, wow, in the span of 3 days, my life did change. And I thought I was going to come back to BC for spring.
Right.
And long story short, I felt if I stayed in California, I would be an incredible burden on somebody because I don't have family out there like I do in BC. As much as I love everybody there and they'd be supportive, I didn't want to be a burden for potentially months at a time on anybody down there. And I wasn't in a position to cover basic expenses to survive.
Right.
So, and it was it's wild because as a musician for the last decade, I can't ever say that I've been in that position. So
Right.
I don't know how anybody's doing, honestly, without a little bit of support. So, yeah, it was a very quick decision. We packed up our lives, me and my other half, and we drove through the night because they're about to close the borders, and my partner is American. So we made it the day before the border closed, and yeah, so now it's the challenge of having parents in 2 different countries and figuring out how to manage that and
Negotiate that for sure.
yeah. So there you go. And now the live streams. I was so excited to play, and then I didn't get to, and that keeps me sane.
Right.
I don't have a plan B with music. It's my life, and I definitely have to perform for sanity And so the live streams have been really fun. I've been having a blast, and I love having you as a guest. It's been so fun.
Yeah, we have a lot
I
of
hope that
fun.
wasn't too long. So that's it. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And for everybody, Sherri Ann, through her music project Sister Speak, is performing every Thursday at 12 p.m. and again on Saturdays at, is it 7?
Yeah, 7:00.
And you can catch her on her Patreon. You're also on Instagram, Facebook Live, and
Yep.
so lots of ways you can catch her. Encourage you to go to the Patreon account though, as that's going to be the highest quality version. That's rough times. There's a little bit of a story again in this magazine that we're talking about.
Yeah.
We got the Alan in Houston. Please excuse the mirror imaging.
She likes to. I think the New York way to say is Houston.
Houston. Okay, Alan in Houston. Okay.
Alan in Houston.
Isn't it Austin? Don't they say? I thought they said Youston, or they pronounce their H's as Y's, but maybe that's for huge, becomes huge or something like that. I can't remember. No, but it's a lovely magazine, lots of beautiful art, and blessed and thankful to be in there. And thank you for that introduction there to make that happen.
Oh yeah, and the tea. It's been so fun on the live streams to drink tea every day, and then what I've been doing is I'm drinking the tea that we do on the show, and I make it like layman style.
Right.
On the show, on my live stream, and then I come downstairs and it's like under the porch instead of back porch sessions. So it's been nice to learn how to make it like more effectively.
Effectively, there we go. Yeah, no, it's I mean, there's so many different styles of making tea, and we find that we try not to be like, oh, this is the only way, because for us, tea making has been definitely a journey that we're learning all the time, new things. And I try to bring things into my brewing technique where I can taste the difference. I kind of have a rule where flavor is so subjective. If it's easier for me to make it one way than another, and I can't taste the difference between the two styles, then I'm going to go, water takes the path of least resistance, and I'm going to make my tea an easier way. But I do find that over time, even though I was trying to cultivate a more artistic technique at home, I just find that my tea is so much more consistent and so much more enjoyable when I utilize a scale, for example, which seems like and that's a big step for a lot of people. Like, why would I use a scale, right? But like
this little one isn't great for rooibos. I mean, rooibos is tricky if you don't steep it hot enough at a hot enough temperature. I noticed, or if you don't put enough tea in there. 100%.
It ends up being really pallid, really kind of woody, not very interesting. But if you put 1 gram for every 30 mils. And you do like a minimum of 4 minutes. I like to bring it even richer than that. I'd rather have a rooibos that's a little bit strong and post-dilute rather than have one that's way too weak and be kind of, I don't know, not super keen on it. So, yeah. But really, I also enjoy going on your shows every Thursday, and I enjoy doing these shows every Thursday. So our viewers, next week, it's actually this week, on Thursday, we're going to have Pedro from O5T. He'll be on the show.
Cool.
We'll be drinking the Gyokuro Sayamidori. It came in 16th place in all of Japan. It's freaking ridiculously good tea. And looking forward to making that happen. So Sherri Ann has agreed to join us for that show as well. Is that happening this Thursday?
I'm in.
You're in.
It's like the highlight of my week.
Awesome. All right. Well, we're looking forward to it. Thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate your perspective, your thoughts, and your participation.
Thank you. Likewise.
Take care. Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay. So a little bit unexpected there was the the screen drop. Have to pardon the that. Again, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully the audio and everything was a little bit better this round. If you put in the coupon code SisterSpeak, you can get the Gyokuro Sai Midori for 10% off. Appreciate your viewership, and please tell the world about these shows. And looking forward to seeing you again on Thursday at 1 p.m. You take care and have a wonderful, wonderful week. And stay safe, wash your hands, and we're all going to get through this together. We're going to be stronger for it, and it's going to be a beautiful world on the other side, even if we are economically impaired. We are going to have more people alive than if we hadn't gone through what we've gone through. So take a moment, breathe, put some oxygen into your brain, drink some tea, and meditate. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful, wonderful week. See you on Thursday, 1 p.m. Join Sister Speak at 12 p.m. and see you then.